Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of NantenJex Talks, and in this one we're going to be talking about something that's just hot off the rumour press, and that is Midori. Everyone knows her at this point. She's one of the two very consistent leakers in the gaming space, but usually she's been all about Sega, talking about stuff like Persona and Sonic at the moment, but she recently just dropped some Nintendo rumours on us, and specifically what she said was that there's a game being worked on at Nintendo with the codename Banquet. And I thought we could talk about it because it's a little more interesting than your typical rumour, someone coming out and saying, oh yeah, there's a new Donkey Kong game, or that recent ESRB leak of the Nintendo World Championship NES Edition. Codename actually gives us something a bit less concrete, but something we can still speculate on. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about that, because as an onlooker you might just see Banquet and that could mean anything. This is like a nothing statement. But actually, there is consistency in how Nintendo does their codenames. In fact, there is for most game studios, actually. And we know quite a lot of their codenames. And through this, we can cut out stuff that we know it's definitely not, and we can narrow it down to what it potentially might be, which is exciting, and that's what I want to talk about. So I think I know what Midori is hinting at here, and I'm going to share my reasoning, but I wanted to throw out a couple other potentials, and then let you decide if my conclusion is the correct one, or if you think it might be one of the others, or if it might be something completely different. Let me know in the comments what you think it might be, or just what you want it to be. Like, just comment down there. It'll really help me out. So, let's go through the first examples. I just want to give some examples on how we can understand what this might be through the codenames. So first of all, Fire Emblem. Pretty consistently codenamed Iron. So, Shadows of Valentia is called Iron 16, Three Houses is called Iron 17, and Fire Emblem Engage is called Iron 19. Now, we don't know what Iron 18 is, but that doesn't mean that there isn't one. This is one of the core reasons why we think that there's another Fire Emblem game on the way, that Genealogy of the Holy War remake. Because there's clearly a Fire Emblem game missing between Three Houses and Engage in terms of when it started development. So that's one of the core reasons that fans think there's another Fire Emblem coming out. And if we look at 2D Mario, so New Super Mario Bros. 2 was called Big Red, New Super Mario Bros. U was called Red Pro, and then Super Mario Wonder was called Sec Red. So I guess like secret, but with red in the name. So for the 2D Mario games, they consistently use red within their codenames, and this is because of just how the teams work. Now, this doesn't always work for every single series. A different developer might go off and use a different codename. So I said this specifically for the 2D Mario series because the 3D Mario series tends to have a slightly different codenames going for them. Might be a reference to the Wii, like Mario Galaxy, I'm pretty sure its codename had a reference to the Wii in it, or Revolution in it, like it might have been Mario Revolution or something like that. But it's a different team from 2D Mario, so I just wanted to make that clear. So because of this, we can tell that Banquet isn't a 2D Mario, which should be obvious because we just got Wonder, and it's not a Fire Emblem game. And through this, we can cut out a lot of stuff, so this won't be a Zelda title. This won't be like an Advance Wars title. This won't be a Metroid title. This is something where if it is an existing franchise, then the codename Banquet needs to relate to other games in this franchise that have something to do with Banquet, and that's what we're going to get into here. But first off, the easy option is that this is just a new IP in general. Like, there's never been anything called Banquet. There's no Banquet 1, Banquet 0, whatever. So this could just be an entirely new IP. But that's the easy answer. Sure, I guess. We can't really say anything more than that. But I've got 4 other options it could be, and I'm going to go from least likely to the one I actually think it is. So first off is Sushi Striker, Sushi Striker was given the codename Dish, because obviously it's all about throwing dishes of sushi at people. That's why it was called Dish. Banquet could be, if it's a bigger Sushi Striker, there's a lot of dishes, it's a banquet. So that could be the reference for the name. That's the only reason why I put Sushi Striker here, though. Like, I don't think the game did well enough that it would get a sequel, to be perfectly honest. But I wanted to throw it out there just in case anyone thought about it. The next one is an Animal Crossing spin-off game. Now, the Animal Crossing mainline series games are always referred to with nature-y codenames. So the first one is Forest, and then I believe City Folk or Wild World is Garden. And then Garden Plus was the name for New Leaf, and then New Horizons is Park. So they're all, related to nature. So Banquet won't be an Animal Crossing mainline game. But spin-offs are different. They tend to give spin-offs either a codename that's a reference to what the game is about. So Happy Home Designer had the codename of Lounge. And then Amiibo Festival had the codename of Barbecue. And Banquet, Barbecue, there's a food connection there. Depending on what the theming of this Animal Crossing spin-off might be, it could be Banquet. Especially given that they added a bunch of cooking options and stuff to New Horizons. Maybe they're actually making an Animal Crossing cooking spin-off game. That's obviously kind of out there, which is why it's still on the lower end of what I'm expecting it to be. But I saw that with Barbecue and how they do the spin-off codenames, that it could be an Animal Crossing spin-off game. Now, the next one, and this is probably one of the likelier two candidates for what it might be, is a game by HAL Labs. Specifically, potentially a Kirby game, a Kirby spin-off game. So HAL Labs love to name all of their games after food. So the Box Boy series, the codename for that is Cacao, which obviously is chocolate. And then the Kirby series uses food for various games. So Triple Deluxe is Parfait, Kirby Fighters is Pizza, Kirby Star Allies is Eclair, and then obviously these are individual types of foods, but Dream Buffet was breakfast, which is obviously just a meal. And so Banquet, but being very food related, could easily fit into that mold and potentially be a Kirby spin-off, or maybe even the next Kirby mainline game. But there are some issues with the idea of Banquet being a Kirby game, and that's because HAL don't always do food names anymore. For example, Forgotten Land was given the codename Balloon 15. Balloon is not edible, last I checked. 15 is because it's the 15th mainline Kirby game, and then just Balloon, because Kirby is a balloon, I guess. And then Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which came out last year, had the codename Ark, which was a reference to Magalore, because everything they seem to do with Magalore, they tend to reference it. Like Merry Magoland is like YY or something, which is the Japanese of how you'd say YY is something related back to Magalore. And then Battle Royale was Ibiza, for some reason, I guess. So like, and even Dream Buffet, which is named Breakfast, might just be a pun, because the Japanese name for it is Gourmet Fest, as in like Kirby Dream Buffet is called like Kirby Gourmet Fest in Japanese. And so obviously Gourmet Fest, Breakfast, and then obviously Break and Fast combined because it's a racing game. So that might actually be why it's called Breakfast. So Banquet could be a Kirby game because if they decide to go with the food theme again, because they did used to do that all the time, but they have moved away a little bit from it. So if it has to be a Kirby game, then I would say it would have to be a spin-off, not the next mainline. It won't be like the 16th Kirby game, a sequel to Forgotten Land. But it could be a spin-off, or it could be a new IP from HAL. The last one they did was Part-Time UFO, which also didn't have food as its codename, I'm pretty sure. So, like, they probably... And they haven't done a Box Boy since the very first one on Switch. So they could be doing a new IP alongside Kirby, and maybe that's what Banquet is. But that's not what But I'm hesitant to say it's Kirby, because what I think it is, what I think Banquet is a sequel to Super Mario Party. Because the codename for Super Mario Party was Buffet, which Buffet Banquet, pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to give arguments for this, and I'm going to give arguments against it. And I mean arguments for it beyond the fact that Super Mario Party was Buffet as the code name, because that's obviously the crux of it. So most Mario Party games by N-Cube actually use Star as their code name, which is why I think people might overlook this. Mario Party 9 was 9-star, Mario Party 10 was 10-star, Star Rush was N stars, and then Mario Party Superstars, which was obviously the last Mario Party game, was 100S, which S I think we can say safely is shortened for star. So those have all used Star in the name. But Super Mario Party was different. It used Buffet instead and had no references to Star. And I think the reason for this is because the Super Mario Party style of Mario Party is different from Mario Party 9, 10, and Mario Party Superstars. Like, those are like... 10 and 9 obviously have the car thing going on, but when you break it down, they are like very traditional Mario Party games. Whereas Super Mario Party was obviously was more focused on having a whole bunch of different types of minigames. It was very Wii Party in that sense. Had the River Rapids one, it had the one where you could freely walk around the board and collect stuff, and then it had the main mode, and then I think it had an amiibo mode. It might have had an amiibo mode. But yeah, so if Banquet is Mario Party related, I think it's not Mario Party Superstars 2. Like I think a lot of people might have hoped for the next Mario Party to be. I think it's Super Mario Party 2. And it's a sequel to that one instead, that type of Mario Party. The other reasons I think Mario Party is probably the most likely one in this case is A, we're really due another Mario Party. These were being released fairly frequently in the past across both the 3DS and the Wii and Wii U. And for the Switch, we've only had 2, and the last one was 2021. So it's been a good 3 years since the last Mario Party came out. And the other reasoning is, N-Cube tend to have a 1.5 year release schedule for their games. Like, the difference, I'm pretty sure, between Super Mario Party and Clubhouse Games was a 1.5 years, and then between Clubhouse Games and Mario Party Superstars was a 1.5 years, and then between Mario Party Superstars and Everybody 1-2 Switch was a little longer, but if you've been following up with the leaks and rumours around that game, you know it hit development hell and was basically delayed an entire year. And now, between Everybody 1-2 Switch and when I'm assuming this Mario Party game would drop later this year, it will have been a 1.5 years. So we're falling into the right time for another Mario Party game to come out. And then lastly, and this one is more just my personal opinion, this is the first time Midori has properly leaked something from Nintendo. And Nintendo is a tight ship. Like, the Kyoto office, the Tokyo office, I don't think anyone is getting anything from in and out of there. But the second-party developers, the ones who work outside of Nintendo, like Mercury Steam, Next Level Games, Grezzo, etc., like both their partners that they work with and the ones that they actually own, like Next Level, those, I think, are probably less watertight. And I think if Midori's going to be getting any sort of Nintendo leaks and rumors, they're most likely especially something like this. Like, this is different from what Puro says. Like, Puro clearly gets their sources from more marketing related things because it's usually almost always something that's about to come out. We don't know what his source was for the Nintendo World Championships, but given the ESRB leak dropped like a day afterwards, that could be connected. Like, that might be how Puro got his source for that, or he the point is, it's not a development thing like this is. Like, if you were to get a code name for a game, you know someone who's working on that game. And I don't think that's going to be anyone from internal Nintendo, but N-Cube are an outside force. They're an outsider. They are technically owned by Nintendo, but they are a company that is outside the main offices, and so things would be more likely to leak from there than it would be from the Tokyo or Kyoto offices. And so that's just another reason why I think it's going to be something at least along the lines of Super Mario Party or even Kirby, because HAL obviously falls into the same category, than Animal Crossing, Zelda, Mario, etc., 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 like mainline Mario. And yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comments what it is. Are you excited about a new Super Mario Party? Like, maybe it will get announced soon, like in the next Nintendo Direct if it's coming out this year. Maybe it'll be held back for the Switch too. Are you... If I'm right, this would mean that it's Super Mario Party 2 and not Mario Party Superstars 2. So how do you feel about that? Because that's obviously not going back to the traditional Mario Party board game types that the last game provided us again. It's doing something different again. So let me know what you think about that as well. And yeah, that's been this episode of NantenJex Talks. I don't know how to end this.